part of me will always love you, but I don't like you and I don't trust you. And that's the hardest thing. No trust.
Family was always important. Near where I lived was a pub called the Gunmakers, and I was sitting on the wall outside and I just bought a packet of Wrigley's. And Jackie walked past and I offered her one of my Wrigley's. So that was our first meeting at 14. And I did, as a kid, just fell in love with her. We got engaged at 17 and married at 19. When I finished my apprenticeship, I started to work for myself. And I eventually built a successful business. But there was always something inside of me looking for more. As a kid, I loved sport at school. And then basically I drifted into powerlifting. Some of these pictures, I think that one was the first competition I ever did in 1976. Every time I lifted, I wanted to train more and lift more. And I even started getting pictures in the newspapers. Round about that time, I started to dabble in drugs. I wanted to achieve, I wanted to win, I wanted to be better. And I think I needed to find something that would feed that addiction. And what that was anabolic steroids. And I actually started working as a nightclub bouncer. I started actually taking amphetamines just to give me a little bit of a boost. Amphetamines then led me into sulf. Sulf led me into cocaine. And it would be in my coffee, it would be on my cornflakes, as well as going up my nose. And so I just took more and more and more and more and more. I then really started to feel a little bit invincible. I thought, nothing can hurt me now.
My mum said that Dad wanted to chat to me. He was in his bedroom upstairs. I knew something terrible had happened or was about to, I guess. He looked in front of me and he said, "How do you tell your little girl something that you know is going to break her heart?" There was this horrible silence and I didn't know what else to say, so I said, "Are you having an affair?"
I had an adulterous affair with a young woman. I left my wife, deserted my children, eventually lost my business.
Having to say, I think after all of that, I don't trust you, it was the hardest. Because I guess up until then, I was thought, no, it'll be all right, there's hope. And I'd lost that.
I started to run an illegal debt collecting business. I used to carry with me a 12-inch diver's knife strapped to my arm, knuckle duster in my pocket, 38 Beretta in this pocket. As hard and as tough as I thought I was, I lived this permanent life of fear and paranoia. And it started to actually take control. I could see no way out. I could see the pain on Jack's face. When I saw my kids, I could see the fear and pain on their face, and I wanted to take my own life. I saw no way out for it except death. I was not the person I was brought up to be. I'd lost everything I'd ever worked for, and everything that meant anything to me. But my marriage, literally to my childhood sweetheart, and that's what she was, and I'd lost it. I contacted Jackie. She said to me, "You needed help." I went to see a guy, a drug counsellor, who happened to be a Christian. I didn't go to church. I wasn't brought up in the church. I had very little understanding of God. And he said, "You, Arthur, are the one that needs to choose what you're going to do with your life." And it's stuck with me ever since. I was debt collecting one night, and I remember standing there in this car park, completely on my own. And I had my knife strapped to my arm, gun, pocket, knuckle duster, 2 club hammers under the seat of my car, pickaxe handles in the back. And I literally looked up and I said, you know what, God? If you're there, come and sort me out. I not only cried out to God then, I chose to put my trust and my faith in Jesus Christ. For 4 years, fear and paranoia were my best two mates. And almost instantly, it was as if something had been lifted off of me, that fear just went. I stopped my drug addiction that morning. I not only chose to call on God, I chose to turn from the life I was living. And my life started to change. I started to go to church. It took a long time for our relationship to get to that trusting point. My wife and I were apart for 4 years, we got remarried. I have the love and respect of my children. I have everything that I now need in my life. There's plenty of things I want in my life. I have all I need. And I believe it's because of Jesus Christ.